Guys, this is the final round of Monster Energy Supercross presented by Utah Sports Commission. It is our last virtual track walk. Good morning, Brock. How are you doing?
Doing great. I just want to first off start off, hey, happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there, and including my dad. And it's just, hey, we made it, round 17. This is the final Supercross of 2020.
Yeah, as many scenarios as I thought how we would get to the final round, this would definitely not be it. But we are here, final round in Salt Lake City, round 17, and we're going down the start straight. The start is in the middle of the track this week. Kind of a really good short start straight. We see an outside berm coming in here, very wide entry. Definitely some major bar banging coming into this short left-hander coming right now.
Yes, I mean, this is the third different location we've seen for the starting gate throughout these 7 rounds, and so it's a tight, it's wide entering it, but it's going to be a pretty tight. There's going to be a lot of jostling, bar banging, running into each other, trying to get that hole shot right here. So it's, fairly short start into a real tight 180. So man, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, no, definitely. I definitely think there's going to be some pileups into that first corner just because of how tight it is. It's not, it's definitely going to be some bar banging, but when you're going at such a high speed and everybody, jockeying for that first position, there's going to be a little mistake, a little bit of bar banging, a little bit of wheel tapping, and I can almost guarantee you we will probably see a little bit of a first turn pileup one time or another. But we're coming in this first rhythm section. It looks like a double into a dragon's back. It seems pretty tight and pretty technical for the last round. Who do you think is going to kind of benefit from this track layout?
Well, it's real right-hand biased. I'll tell you that. It has, I think, 6 full right-hand corners with only 3 lefts and a couple of 90s in there in the left. So, you better be comfortable with your right-hand cornering. That's for darn sure. As we come out of that first corner you mentioned, it's actually 3 smaller jumps. So it could be done double, and then the third you could lift off and go into the dragon's back. Or who knows, we're going to see somebody try to do it and go try to clear the whole dragon's back. It's going to be interesting. And then they're going to go right immediately into a 180 bull corner. So that's really your second corner. And then right here, as we can see, into another good section right here with the big triple coming up. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, no, and then also we kind of have a unique obstacle with this reverse dragon's back into this 5-footer. It's going to be interesting to see how the riders time it and what line develops here. The only thing I can think of is you would want to jump all the way over the dragon's back, get into this pot, and then triple off of this high one, but then you still kind of have a single into the corner into that 90. So that's a tabletop right there, sorry guys, but
to me, that dragon's back, I mean, it is a reverse dragon's back. It's right. It's going to be something I'm almost certain they're going to just triple on into. It's not your standard Supercross triple that we always talk about every week, but it is, I imagine nobody's going to really, I'll be surprised if people are touching that the reverse dragon back there, but it is kind of neat that they have a mirror image of a dragon back and then followed a 180 and another one. But then, as you mentioned, onto the tabletop and into a sharp 90, another, one of our right-hand corners. So this will be our second right-hand corner of the track with a optional high-low inside-outside section here.
And then there's a lot more 90s that we've seen in the previous tracks here. How do you think that's going to play out tonight?
It's interesting because your first full lap, basically, you do the perimeter of the track, and it has, as you mentioned, a bunch of 90s, and they're all right-hand corners as you do this, the circumference or the perimeter of the stadium floor. So I find the track very busy. I would, as a rider, I would prefer less busyness. I like to see the riders race each other and not the track, but it does seem tight, which is probably going to lend itself to a lot of aggressive, bar banging coming into the corners here. And as we come into another 90-degree right hand, as we head back down towards the south end of the stadium, which is the open end of the stadium here. And it's, another busy rhythm section.
Yeah, and then two, also just to add on to the 90s, like, those 90s are super short, so they're gonna, there's only enough room to hit for one or two lines, and as you can see, there's a little bit of a knuckle on the right hand side to kind of get to that second tabletop, so you might be able to see someone, jump on the inside and then come off, and then maybe outside, you go over the top and you hit this pocket, and then you'll actually go over two singles, what technically is a quad, because when you're jumping off a tabletop, there's two options. You can go on top of it or you can launch off. So that's considered a quad. And then this is going to be the longest rhythm section on the track that we're standing at right now.
Yes, I mean, this section you're talking about right here, because of all the different options that the riders will have throughout the days of racing, this is probably my favorite section, actually, because I think you're going to see some people being more creative, mixing it up a little bit, trying to make some passes through here.
Yeah, no, Dirtworks always does amazing jobs and thinks through which are the riders' lines they're going to do, so they can always make two lines that are pretty similar. It doesn't work out exactly the way they want it, because we're always, riders are always difficult and they're always coming up with new scenarios and jumping bigger stuff, especially on the 450s. But they do a really good job of trying to making two lines very equal. And then we're coming into another 90, and we got another short berm. It's going to be interesting to see, if these berms break down and get really chuckled out, and then you're going to have to kind of move to that inside and really play that flat area on those bottom of those 90s.
Yeah, it is. And remember, it's going to be a daytime race. It's very warm today. It's one of the nicer days we've had in a while. I mean, it's kind of interesting. Now we're bookending this whole run through Salt Lake with a day race program, and this is the final race, which is also the day race program. It's also busier for the 250 guys too. It's not, they don't do the traditional LCQs where they do, so you got to check the schedule. These guys don't have a lot of time after, if they have to run the LCQ in the 250 class. They're going to have to go from this, they're going to have to be ready to race, especially the ones running the West Coast, which is technically like our second 250 heat. So it's going to be interesting. It's a daytime, as I mentioned, warm. Track's going to get hard packed, as we've seen. And, crew does a great job of trying to keep water on it when they can, but it's going to be a little bit hard packed and slick. There's no question about it. So those corners are going to be challenging to get, good traction out of.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then two, guys, everybody watching this, 12:30 p.m. Eastern time is when qualifying starts on your gold package. For let's see, I got it right here. 3 p.m. Eastern time is on NBC Sports, and then 4 p.m. switch over to NBC, and then you can see the rest of the race. So make sure you guys tune in, set your guys' DVRs. Make sure you guys watch tonight. It is the final round of Monster Energy Supercross. No more until 2021. So you guys better tune in. And we're coming up to one of my favorite sections of a Supercross track, the whoop section. It's definitely going to be a big separator night. We can see, how long it is. How many whoops do we have here, Brock?
Well, I should have counted. I've counted every single one, and you caught me on that one. It's probably 10 to 12-ish. It's certainly not short. But what I like about it is, to try to deflect that question, because this is the one round I haven't counted every single one. It's too early this morning, but it's coming right up. Look, it's really the last obstacle right before the finish. And can you imagine coming down for the championship, especially in that 250 class, and coming in this thing, and this is your last obstacle before the championship's on the line?
Yeah, no, I think that's, a perfect scenario, because in the whoops, it always breaks down in one line. So you're always fighting for the edges to skip. And then there's always last weekend we seen a jumping line in the last 4 whoops really break down. This weekend, I think with the sun out and with being a day race, they're going to get chokehold. They're going to be skipping throughout the night. So it's going to be interesting to see, what passes are made right before the finish, right before that final checkered flag goes.
Absolutely. And then also, real quick, qualifying lines, a lot of times the guys will dart down to the inside, even though it might not be the fastest to get over the finish line. At least it clips the timer a split second early. So we saw a few guys doing that last week too, to try to get that top qualifying spot.
Yeah,
So,
no,
yep.
absolutely. And we're just coming over the finish line landing. Our last little kind of 180 back onto the start straight. And that is going to be it for the virtual track walk presented by Dunlop Motorcycle Tires, our final track walk of the year. Bittersweet, but Supercross is coming to an end.
Hey, it's been a great run doing it this 2020 season. And hey, thanks for all the people viewing and have viewed it every week and send the comments and things. We really appreciate it. So,
yeah, thank you.